Let's have a look at the general framework for spending less. So just as a reminder, we said that there are actually 3 equations that help us build the wealth. So we have to spend less in order to increase our savings, given obviously that the income is fixed. Once we build savings each and every year, then gradually we can build the total savings, so bigger amount of them. And finally, if we invest them wisely, we can actually have even more than the nominal value of the savings. And this is actually our wealth. And thanks to that, we have defined the following framework. So we said that in order to build your wealth, this is the actions you have to take. And as you might remember, we said that one of them is spending less. And this is what we're gonna go a little bit into details now. So I'm gonna show you what kind of things you can do in order to achieve it. So the first thing you can do is simply to reduce usage. So buy less of something or buy less frequently it. So for example, you can exchange the car not every 3 years, but every 5 years, and this will give you substantial savings. You might be going to cinema maybe not 4 times a week, but maybe once a week. A second thing is to eliminate some expenses totally, so you don't do it at all. What's left, you have to try to renegotiate or find a cheaper provider. And once you are done with the quick wins, you move on to more complicated things. And for that, you need something which is called total cost of ownership. We obviously will go into details in each and one of them. Here I just want to tell you briefly what you can expect. Total cost of ownership simply looks at the total cost that you will incur due to the fact that you own certain thing. So for example, vacuum cleaner may be cheaper on a face value than cleaning robot like Roomba, but those cleaning robots, they tend to do the things on their own. So you don't have to, in a sense, invest your time. So although vacuum cleaner might be cheaper version or cheaper choice when it comes to cleaning than a cleaning robot, then when you look at the value of your time you have to invest, the cleaning robot might be actually the cheaper choice. And this is what we're gonna discuss when we are talking about the cost of ownership. And linked to that will be obviously adjust your behaviors. So big things which in terms of the total cost of ownership are simply cheaper. Then we'll move on to a very important issue, which is being healthy and in shape. And this is both directly and indirectly linked to the spending less. If you are healthy, you spend less, but also in order to be actually healthy, you can spend less money. And we're going to discuss it in details, and I'll also show you how to set targets and how to achieve it. Then we will move on to something which we call the value of time. So your time you can use to do certain things or to earn money. And we're going to discuss how to first of all calculate it, and later on how to make choices using the value of the money. So for example, how to decide which things you should delegate to other people and which things you should not do on your own. And this actually we will consider as spending less. We'll also talk about an important issue. So trying to figure out what things to do in order to give you a certain level of happiness for the same amount of money. So we've got this concept of measuring happiness per $100 spent and adjusting your choices. And there will be also a very interesting case devoted to that as well. Later on, we'll discuss obviously an important issue, so reducing expensive liabilities, debts, loans, and I will show you also using a very nice case study how to do it in practice. Linked to that is the subject of repurposing assets that don't generate income. So in other words, trying to sell them or rent them in order to increase your savings. And last but not least, we'll talk about things where you should check the end game before you do that in order to see whether it's worth it. A very good example would be education or the choice of the place where you will live. So that's in short about each and every method we're gonna present in this section. Obviously, I will discuss each and every one in detail, and for each and every one of them, there will be a case study with calculations in Excel that will show you how to do it in practice.